Welcome back. We are here joined by a special guest this week, our first guest on the channel, Mr. Ryan Jennings, owner of the golf Instagram account at Golf Numbers. Make sure to give him a follow. Go check out his page, especially if you're following along for this to make golf bets weekly. He's the place to go. Promise you won't be disappointed there when you see his track record. But we're back. We're here for the fifth major, the Players Championship. Couldn't be more excited for this field. Obviously still missing Bryson, but that's all right. Who knows when he's going to be back? Phil, Tiger obviously not playing. Steve Stricker and one other guy, I'm slipping his name, are the only players who are invited that won't be there. But nonetheless, a very stacked field. Everyone who could possibly be out there is going to be out there. Let's get right into it, guys. Players Championship. Obviously, the third stop on the Florida swing. We just came from Orlando, where had an interesting Sunday, another over par tournament. And that's back to back, to Joe's point, where things got tough out there. And we saw a lot of guys going backwards over the weekend. So shakes things up. I still think we're going to get back on track once we get out of Florida. But the Honda Classic and Arnold Palmer were no joke. I know I had Hovland, who was right there towards the end, Will Dog with the success this week with Scotty Scheffler. I got to add real quick that on the 72nd hole, Willie, when Scheffler stepped up to that 65-foot putt and he had to make a two-putt, I couldn't believe it when he just put it to a tap-in. I mean, that was an incredible, nervy, all-around great putt. And congrats to you on the win. I know Joe has a few words about one of his picks, so I'll let him get into that.
Oh, yeah. I need to talk about the over par. And I didn't see on our page the cumulative score. So I would be curious to see the cumulative score with another over par event. And I would love to see Ryan's take on that as well, if we want to dive into that. But yeah, I mean, Rory McIlroy is, soon going to be labeled, choke Leroy or whatever you want to call him. Like, the guy just cannot sustain a lead. I mean, fires, what was it, 63 or something? 7 under, and then just
65
choke,
under,
just lays an egg, goes over par, and then shoots like 3 over on the weekend when he was right in it. He was right in it even on Sunday, and he shoots, I think it was 4 over, and he's just like,
is that a confidence thing? Like, where does that stem from? Is that him just not being as aggressive just because he is a father and priorities shift? Like, there has to be a change in mentality there that is causing him to let up on the gas pedal, when it matters, moving day into Sunday. But, you necessarily can't blame the guy basically where he's at in his life. And, if priorities shifted, so be it. But, we all would love to see Rory be consistent, but I hate to say I was right. That was probably the one thing I was right about last week. All my guys sucked, but Rory was inconsistent. And, it's getting annoying to see at this point.
Yeah. And
you were skeptical too.
I voiced it. I voiced it, but
yeah,
I wasn't voicing it after the first round, I'll tell you that. But after 2 and 3, I was like, okay.
Yeah, he was pretty upset about the course setup too.
Exactly. He commented about, a lot of shots, if you miss, they're going to penalize you. And the rough was 4 inches at the start of the week, and it grew pretty quick. So it was easy to see why people were going backwards over the weekend. But to Joe, I don't think anyone missed the cut out of our group last week, so there was no cumulative.
I wish.
Pretty good.
I think Kevin Na, did he withdraw too because he was having a kid? Is that the one that you couldn't think of?
That's probably it. Yeah, he did just have a baby yesterday, I think. So congrats to Kevin Na on that. I know G likes Kevin Na a little bit. But
yeah.
We're back for the Players. Arnold Palmer, tough event. I think it's never really been as hard as it was last week, but we know that Sawgrass can be another bear. We see guys going 65 and guys going 78. So expect a lot of swings, especially in the final stretch of holes, 16 through 18, with the prime example being 17. I mean, we've seen some 12s on that par 3. I heard a really cool stat about Ricky Fowler in 2015, the year he won. he made 5 twos and 6 attempts on that 17th hole. So 5 birdies out of the 6 times he played it. Obviously 2 extra shots at it on a playoff to get his victory. But that's just being dialed. I mean, having your wedges and short irons playing well. And back when he was in the top 10 in the world for a 5-year stretch before kind of falling off. And I think we would all like to see Ricky get back into form, but we won't see him this week. And as of now, we're not going to see him at Augusta or any of the majors that I know of.
Wild.
Really?
Wait, no Masters?
He's not in anything?
He's
He
not
had
in
to
any-
win. He had to win to get into the Players at the Arnold Palmer.
Yeah, and so it'll be the same
Dang.
thing for Augusta coming up. It was the same for him last year. He didn't get in, but you know, it's a tough game, and it just shows you can be a top 10 player in the world for 5 years, and then all of a sudden he's ranked like 122nd.
Wow.
Awesome.
Everyone wants to see that guy win
I know.
week after
Oh.
week.
I want to
Disappointing.
get your guys' opinions on this. The 17th hole. So I was listening to the Chasing Majors podcast with Stevie Williams recently, and he brought up a good point that while he still thinks it's a great hole, it can decide the tournament. And sometimes you can hit a pretty good shot and still have it go into the water, and you literally lose the tournament because of that. So he thinks it should be positioned like the 8th hole or the 12th hole, like kind of like 12 at Augusta, how you can blow up on that hole, then you have 2 par 5s to make up for it.
Mhm.
What are your guys' thoughts on the 17?
So 18 is a tough hole to follow up 17 with too. I mean, you have water all down the left. You kind of have to hit the perfect draw, or I mean, I don't think a lot of guys are fading it over the water anymore.
No.
But one of the things about the setup, the Pete Dye course, is that the front 9 and the back 9 are very symmetrical, and it requires both shot shapes. So, you know, you're not going to have a draw player favored versus a fade player this week. It's kind of set up so that there's no favoritism based on your tee time. Like if you're teeing off on the front 9 or the back 9, it's pretty symmetrical is what I was reading, and it was done on purpose. And a lot of the par 4s are S-shaped. I think some of the par 5s as well, where you have to hit a draw off the tee and then a fade into the green or vice versa. So it's a tough golf course all the way around. It's a true test. And I think to your point, Willie, you could put 17 anywhere, but just because it's at the end doesn't really mean that there isn't a hole somewhere else on the course that's not going to screw you up either.
Yeah. And there's water everywhere. And there could be some tough weather this week too.
It looks like it. You got
Yeah.
some rain in the forecast, maybe some lightning.
I wanted to ask about Ryan. I'm sure you fall into this category. I'm, casting judgment on you already. First time meeting you. But what happened to you and D's boy, John Rahm, the ASU kid, last week, man? Missing, an inch, like that was like a 6-incher.
That was the weirdest putt I've ever seen.
Yeah.
For
That
how
was
powerful
wild.
of a guy that is, or he is,
Yeah,
to even be able to hit it an inch or 3 inches or whatever it was.
I know.
I mean,
His game wasn't
It-
there though that week, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Give me a little bit of a question mark this week.
Yeah.
I'm sure he's gonna show up, but he did not have it last week.
See, I don't put him in the same category as,
Rory
McIlroy.
Chocolroy.
yeah. Yes, as Joe would call him. I think Rahm's still gonna deliver, but that was such a fluke thing, like the fluke round. But I don't even understand how it happens. It's like defying gravity, one putter
Yeah.
at a time. John Rahm.
There we go. New
my
sponsor.
buddies and I were trying to compare it to like a different sport. Like, what would that be equivalent to? Would it be equivalent to like quarterback rolls out from the 2-yard line and underhand passes the ball to a tight end?
Yeah.
Guy drops it. I don't
Yeah,
even
I
know.
can see
I
it.
don't even think
Yeah.
that's equivalent because people drop passes. It's like
It-
how many
maybe
PGA
like-
Tour pros leave a 10-inch putt over halfway short? It's crazy.
Yeah,
That's
maybe like a
insane.
missed dunk or something by like
Yeah.
a 7-footer wide open.
Yao
Yeah.
Ming missing a dunk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If
Shout
it's
out
the-
Yao Ming.
If it's the
Yeah.
quarterback, it's definitely Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce, which they do that play all the time. So, if they miss
Right.
that, it's kind of like, what's going on?
Yeah, exactly.
But
That was a weird putt. I never seen anything like that. Really never even seen that in like just going out with us like amateurs.
oh, well, I've done it for sure.
I feel like I've never seen it ever.
You've done
Yeah,
that?
yeah,
I'm pretty
right.
sure I've
D.
done that. Come on.
What?
I feel like I need
You
to start golfing with you guys. Make me feel a little better.
Absolutely. Yeah. No, we get down to Scottsdale a decent amount. I try to go back as often as I can. So Ryan, we'll definitely get out at some point.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about your golf background and how you came to the page or where you play at in Scottsdale. I'll try to add some
Yeah,
of my favorites.
Page
too.
is called Golf Numbers. It's pretty simple. I was just searching for names because I love working with numbers and love golf. And I checked and Golf Numbers was available. So I was like, hey, start that up. Basically, it was like, I love the stats that the TV produces, but there's nothing really on Instagram that had a lot of golf stats. There's a lot of football stats, baseball stats, everything like that. So kind of want to throw something together. Then as a side gig, I just would bet on golf and started posting some pics there, and it's been doing well. So
Yeah, you've had some pretty wild success. I mean, we can see it week to week after you post, but the one that pointed out to me was the Hero World Challenge back in November. You hit 12 parlays, I believe it was.
yeah, that was so. I post the
Ridiculous.
individual picks. I don't focus on like the winner too much. I focus on the individual matches. So anything I post, on the side I parlay them, and all the picks I picked hit. So all the parlays won. So it's
Just a
It's a good
great
day.
week.
Yeah.
Unreal.
And what's your process like on that? Are you using like, how the course is set up that tee to green is really important or strokes gained around the green is really important and kind of
It's
finding
really
those
all
stats?
quantitative. Again, I'm a numbers guy, so I basically cover up the names of the players, put all this input into a spreadsheet. There's like 52 inputs,
Wow.
and so I do 3 balls, which is the first 2 days. There's groups of 3, and then there's individual matchup. So I basically dump everything in and kicks out a number, and if it's above a certain number, I bet on it. And again, it's all quantitative based. So if you're going with quantitative, you got to stick to a discipline. Even if you have a bad week, you got to trust the process. So that's why I said you could cover up the names, and that's actually the best way to stay disciplined, because something might look a little off, but it's a guy you like, or
Yeah.
Rom's in there or something, go some
Yeah.
Devils.
I
And so
I was gonna ask, have you ever just been so tempted when it's like DJ and then it's like, I don't know, like Coke Rack, and you're like, okay, like clearly, I'm 99% of the time I'm gonna choose DJ, and everyone else would, but then Coke Rack. Do you ever like have that temptation? I mean, I guess what you're saying you don't, because you cover them up.
I'm pretty disciplined because I work in finance. So basically with my job, you have to kind of follow the numbers and stay disciplined. And I've learned in that industry, when you deviate from it and start using judgment or bias, that things can go wrong. So I'm pretty disciplined. I usually don't cover up the names, but it'd make no difference if I covered up the names or not.
Yeah.
When I printed this off, this is basically, those are like the inputs.
Oh,
so
my
these are the
goodness.
3-ball matches. So
Is that a sheet you print off every week? And
no, I don't print this off normally. I did it for the call. But,
nice.
That's amazing.
those are all different numbers, and basically it takes me an hour to input a bunch of data, and then I have the Excel spreadsheet all set up.
That is bad to the bone, dude. That's
Yeah.
sick.
So does the analysis just like based purely off golf stats? Obviously with the matchups and the three balls, there's like depends on what the Vegas odds are and the value of those
Yeah.
odds and the matchups and everything. So what all does that get factored in?
Yeah, there's a little bit of everything. There's tournament odds, there's the actual matchup odds, kind of bring in some daily fantasy sports numbers, FanDuel, DraftKings. And then it's another big indicator is just recent momentum.
Mhm.
I'm sure you guys agree. The guy's hot, he's hot. The guy's
Definitely.
not, he's not. So, I mean, obviously, guys can turn it around, but so that's a factor. So, kind of a trend indicator. And then there's the course fit component. So you look, that changes each week. And then,
That's a big one I would have thought of is the course. fit.
yeah, definitely.
Course history
Yeah.
too, I'm sure.
And then, yeah, the fourth component is prior history at that tournament.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that one's especially for the players. The players is really interesting because there's guys that will win and then they'll miss the cut the next week or next year. So some
yeah.
courses,
Rory McIlroy, for example.
yeah. Actually, I had a stat here. It was only in the last 6 years of the defending players champions, only one of them has finished in the top 50 the following players. So
Top 50.
yeah,
See you later,
there-
Justin.
there is
Not
Webb
picking
Simpson
him.
in 2019. So
Wow. And it was Webb.
I
and there's not one player that's ever won back-to-back at the players. The best that's ever happened was Jack Nicklaus won, and then the next year he had fifth. But yeah, the last 6 years, the winner hasn't even placed in the top 50 5 of the 6 times. So
I gotta think JT is going top 50.
You would
You
think,
know?
but
you
I
think
know who I'm picking.
I
now.
know, but to Ryan's point, you can't look at the
question it, yeah. I mean,
He
Jack
didn't
Nicklaus.
win last year,
fifth,
did
so-
he?
Yeah,
Yeah,
JT
he won last year.
year.
yeah,
I thought
JT
it was the year before that he won.
No.
No, that was canceled.
It canceled
Mm.
and then Rory before that.
So if your numbers say shootout, like in Joe's example, like DJ versus Kokrak, DJ would be like minus 250, like minus 300. Your numbers ever shoot out something and you see the odds and you're like, nah, I'm not going to do that.
Yeah, when it's 3-ball, that's why I like 3-ball because
Yeah. It's all
you
plus.
bring
odds.
a third player in and he could just be a non-factor, but it makes the odds a little
Mhm.
juicier. Yeah, some of the one-on-one matchups, it's hard to bet like a minus 350 because it's
Yeah.
like seems like you're kind of risking too much to win so little.
Yeah.
Maybe to include them in a parlay, I don't know, but
Gee, you'll like this stat. The last player to finish in the top 15 as a previous winner was Adam Scott in 2005.
My boy.
yeah,
He's
it's
been playing
crazy.
some good golf lately, which
Yeah.
fires me up a lot. It took like years and years for him to come back for me after being number one in the world. But I gotta say, I look up at the leaderboard and I see him up there, and it's exciting. The swing is just so pure and beautiful. But yeah, good for the guy. I'm not gonna, say too much on it and just kind of sit back and hope it continues. But good for the Aussie.
Another guy I like is not necessarily for this tournament, but happy for is Billy Horschel.
Yeah.
Fun to
It's
see
the
him
Nether
out there.
Bear guy. You and Garrett are freaking besties.
You want to talk about the momentum? Like he's played
Yeah.
so well in
Yeah.
Florida so far. I'm taking him top 20 every week and he's like plus 150, plus 175, and he is killing it.
Auto $100, Billy Horschel.
I was saying, I mean, being back in his home state, he's very a guy where the certain vibe or being back home can shift his mentality, right? And I think we've seen that in the last two tournaments or however how many it's been. It's good to see, and I think Billy has definitely more game in him. I mean, he's won the FedEx. Like, that should say enough for his game. That's impressive enough.
Dude, his shot on 18 too, when he was trying to tie for birdie. I mean, he flew it right over the flagstick, like maybe a couple paces off the green, but the conditions were ridiculous, and he bounces over and has no chance at birdie. Like, he hit such a good shot.
Well, even the previous week coming into the stretch too, he hit that shot on 17. And like, no one's gotten it close to where it was a really aggressive birdie look, and he barely missed it coming back downhill.
Yeah.
And then he finished birdie again. So you see that strong finish. It seems to be kind of a thing that we're seeing guys at the top do. It's not how you start, it's how you finish, the old saying. But yeah, Billy and Adam definitely are my guys, and it's good to see them playing good golf. I'm happy.
It's a deep field too, so we'll see where and if those guys get picked.
Very
Totally.
true. Quick little stats to add. There's only been 5 players to win at the stadium course multiple times. There's Tiger Woods, Fred Couples, Davis Love III, Steve Elkington, and Hal Sutton. And the average time between their victories, they're all only 2-time winners, was 11.6 years, which is pretty impressive. I mean, it's just, it could be anyone's game. And if JT goes out and does this, it'll be historical. We'll have to see if he can do that. And then I just wanted to make sure I said it was 2005 that Adam Scott placed in the top 15. I think he had a T8 after winning in 2004. So it's always a fair test, and anyone can really go out there and win, whoever's playing hot. So you know what? Maybe this is Billy Horschel's week to finally get that victory in Florida. He's got a hot stick.
Yeah,
You never know.
47 of the top 50 players in the world playing. So
Wow.
it's hard to win the tournament.
It
Yeah,
is.
no doubt.
I mean, it makes sense why these guys aren't going back to back or defending their title. So
Yeah, so that's a good point.
A lot of guys have started to not play in Florida until this event, just because they're trying to, like Jordan Spieth, who doesn't have an impressive track record here, has missed the cut 4 times in his 7 tries at the Players, but he switched it up this year by not playing at the Arnold Palmer, and just try to keep a clear head going into this event. It's just a tough course, no matter how you slice it. One year, Jack Nicklaus missed the cut, walked off, and said to the TV cameras, "I've never tried to land a 5-iron on the top of a car." And that's just what you got to do out there, I guess. So there's some tough landing spots, some tough S-turn holes. Got to play a draw, then a fade, and back-to-back shots. Obviously 17, you get the adrenaline going. It's a 135-yard shot or whatever it is, but it's not easy, and you got water surrounding it. So going to be a lot of excitement there. I did want to just hit really quick on a little bit of Scottsdale golf with Ryan here. Ryan, what are some of your favorite spots? I see Wekopa on the side of your hat there.
Yep, Wekopa. Coincidentally, it's a Minnesota hat.
Oh,
I'm
wow.
from Minnesota
Oh, what?
originally. I don't know why they were selling a Minnesota hat at Wekopa, but could not get it.
Probably a bunch of people from Minnesota coming down.
Yeah, so like Fire Rock, there's really not many bad courses down here. Legend Trail is a good one. The ones most people have heard, Greyhawk, Turon. Yeah,
So you said Fire Rock. That's a country club, right?
yeah,
Up in Fountain Hills. Yeah, I used to work
Yep.
out in Oncala, which is right down the street. Got to get
Yeah.
up there one time, and it was a really great course.
yeah.
You like Los Sendas or Red Mountain Ranch?
I don't play too many of those courses south, so
Okay. Are you
What,
Kind of
about,
more.
what about like Quintero? You get out there ever?
haven't been there.
Yeah.
that's a trek.
I played the majority of the courses down here, but now I'm realizing that, I mean, if you drive 15 minutes, you pass 8 courses, so
It's hard to
Right.
go. It's hard to go
Yeah.
an hour to go play one. I get
The
that.
real question is, do you think Papago is a good track?
I haven't played that in a long time. I'm upset that ASU left.
No, Air-
Karsten.
yeah, there we go. Okay.
Yeah.
That
The
did bum
best
me out.
was going to ASU with the student pass. We had to play Carson for $20.
Wow.
Think
And that was
maybe
a-
we had to pay an extra $10 to get a cart, but we were in college, so
It was a
we
great
had to
deal.
save that $10 for some beers after, so we'd walk.
And Carson was just such a fantastic course. I really enjoyed playing that as
Oh,
much
it
as
was
we
fun.
could.
Yeah. Yeah, it was solid.
Of course, Michael Crow, shout out the president, had to go and agree to build some condominiums in there and a little strip mall. We all needed
Yep.
more of that, but
So did we answer, do we like Papago or no?
I can't even remember. I haven't played it since they remodeled it and made it really nice for ASU. So seen pictures and follow ASU's Instagram and looks awesome, but you gotta get
Fair
out there.
enough. Fair
Gotta
enough.
get out there before I give an answer.
What do
That-
you
that-
think, G?
No, I don't like it.
I know.
I
I knew you
think
were gonna say
I
that.
think it's a straight dog track.
Yeah.
But that's just me. If you like no cart pass and just driving all over the course, like that's your hole or that's your golf course. I think overall the setup was fun. There were some holes that were cool, but it felt like Grand Theft Auto Miami golf course vibe all the way. But the practice facility, the lunch area, the bar, the putting green, anything outside of the actual course, take the course out of it, amazing. I mean, it's 10 out of 10. I'd go and I'd hang out there all the time. And even the pro shop, like one of the best pro shops too. But the course, to me, based on seeing everything up to that point, was a pretty big letdown. And not
Yeah.
to say the course wasn't good, it just it felt like not what it represented in its branding and the practice facility and everything I've heard up to that point.
I get what you mean.
Gee,
about
it's okay,
the-
bro. You don't like it.
Yeah, I mean,
They do have the dormant in most of the year, and I don't know, what month did you play it again, G? April,
I don't even.
April and May.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
So it could have been,
Shitty month.
a little rough with the dormant grass surrounding it, and there is a lot of dirt outside of the fairways. But I don't know. I think the layout is pretty good. It's a long enough course to be a challenge. There's some turning holes. If you play it a couple times, you find it's a little bit more intriguing than it appears. Because I get what you're saying. Like the appearance is not great the first time you see it, but it's a fun track, and there's some challenging holes out there. It's obviously good enough to host a college tournament every year, and those guys, don't beat the shit out of it. So it's a good enough track, and I think during the season it can be a little bit more fun and not as dead on the outside of the fairways. But
Yeah,
Speaking of
That's
college,
it's just
Oh,
hard
you
not
got it
to.
right.
It's hard not to like the courses up in the mountains and
yeah,
more the desert golf rather than the kind of Scottsdale Valley golf.
That's
100%.
that's also where I feel like it works against Papago, because I've seen like Quintero, for example. Oh my goodness. It's like the difference between New Mexico and Hawaii. Like it's just drastic difference in terms of what you're looking at. Now
Very
the
true.
course setup and how hard it's playing and the actual way it plays in terms of a golf course can be similar, but I don't know. I'm a guy that likes to look at, beauty over some harshness. And
Yeah.
maybe Papago's a little rough around the edges, but
Yeah, and there's
That-
just no elevation. A lot of these courses around here, you can be teeing off and it's a straight downhill shot, huge elevation change, and then you kind of play talking stick or Papago and just kind of a flat track. Seems like there's like 30 feet of elevation on the course. So
yeah.
yep.
The valley courses are definitely not as exciting. And if you're coming from out of state, you don't live there, you'd rather be on the mountains. Like Quintero hole 9 is the first thing I thought of when you said the elevation changes. That par 3 is beautiful with that sloping green to the right. But, we played Action Southern Dunes, which is actually more of a valley course too, but it was a little further out of town into the desert. But then you have courses like McCormick Ranch and Orange Tree and just
Raven.
talking Raven Legacy right there. But even Raven and Legacy are a little bit more picturesque than a McCormick Ranch or some
Yeah.
of the country clubs I played are Gainey Ranch and Arrowhead Country Club are just, a little bit too flat in the valley. There's none of the rocks and everything that you expect to be seeing when you're coming to Arizona to play golf.
Mhm.
But they're all great tracks. I mean, the
Yeah.
thing is that Arizona just has so much good golf that it's tough to rank.
That's
Pablo.
that's the thing. Even the bad courses are
Good.
better than
A lot of
most
places.
other states courses. So
That's a very fair point. Well, I think it's about time we get into these picks. It sounds like we're
Do
going to
it.
do 4 players for this event. We got 5 of us picking 4 players. So, excuse me if it takes a while to do the math this weekend, but I'll be trying to stay on top of it as best as I can. 20
No
players
excuses,
for
D.
us this week. I'll be doing my best. And we're going to have Ryan start us off as the first pick this week, being our guest.
well, based on all the stats we shared, it's probably not the best pick, but we'll go JT.
All
Wow.
right.
Damn it!
Oh,
That's a big time move right in front of Garrett, who's picking
Surprised you
second.
guys
Jeez.
gave me the first pick.
No!
wait.
Should have had the fifth.
Right after you talk about not taking the defending champ.
Brian,
That was Joey.
I mean, you still get points if he gets third place, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
I got my
What?
Scotty shirt on and everything. All right.
Wow, that is wild. I am so shocked by that.
Dang.
you say you're
okay.
you said you're disciplined, bro.
We're gonna
No.
see.
Not always. Not always.
Wow.
All right.
Who's
He,
G-
he ranks number 1 in my system. I mean,
Okay.
Dang. I like your
He's,
system then.
Okay,
I mean, he's a great pick. He's
hey, he's the second ranked
dude, history
trender,
books, bro. History books.
number 1
Yep.
course fit.
No, I mean, that's who I was going to go with. And if I didn't go with him, number 1 in the official power rankings, the PGA Tour represented, not the ones that Joey reads. This is T41 in the player's debut last year, but closing 66 for the field low for low round of the week. And there's a few other stats that I won't get into, but this is Mr. Colin Morikawa, Mr. Bay Area kid, Mr. Berkeley, Mr. Tilden Park himself. I'm excited about it. He's been consistent from, the few weeks we've been watching him, and wait, he's number 2 in the world, or is that
two?
still number 2?
Dose.
Yep. Easy
Who's it
pick
now?
for me.
It's
Who is
Joe
it now?
now.
Me or
Yep, you, Joe.
it's me? Okay. Garrett's talking some crap about the power rankings that I check out. This guy is leading my power rankings, and it simply just says, this guy drills. And so with that being said, I'm going with the number 1 overall pick in my power ranking, Mr. Patrick Cantlay.
Good pick there.
Must be the garbage power rankings.
He's legit like
We'll see.
14 or something on, or he's 12 on the one G's looking at.
I was gonna
Yeah,
say,
no,
I
I
don't
saw
think-
that.
I don't think
Oh,
Kentlay's had a
man.
whole lot of success at Sawgrass, but maybe he'll turn that around this year after being player of the year last year.
Number 1 pick, Joe Cantlay.
Hey,
Yeah, but the guy's been a stick recently. It's can't hate on that pick.
I wasn't
Yeah.
looking at the names, Garrett. I was looking at the numbers. All right, dude. I'm trying to take a page out of our guess.
But that's interesting, Ryan. Where does Cantlay rank on your
Like a
rank?
million.
He is 4.
4? So he's still top 5.
Oh, okay. All right.
That's the other
Joe.
thing that
All
stood
right,
out,
Joe.
like how we talked about this course, just no
Fits.
players are real consistent. He went 22nd, missed the cut, 8th, missed the cut. It's just like, it's a tough course.
Yeah.
But
I didn't see
good
those
pick.
stats, but
Good
dang
pick.
it.
I'm going with my second favorite active player. Obviously, when Tiger is around, he's number 1, and this guy falls back to 3.
Are you
But
going Choklo Roy?
I'm going to
Oh.
take Joe's favorite player on tour right now, Rory McIlroy. And I'm doing it simply because I think the course is going to be playing soft and wet with a little bit of rain. And he's a bomber. He can also work the ball both ways. Looking for Rory McIlroy to come back into his form here this week.
Wait, Will Dog won last week?
Well, Doug did with Scotty Scheffler.
About time.
Congrats. This is shocking that this is your first W.
I know. No, it was a rough start to the season. Is it
Here,
my
here
pick
it
already?
comes. Yeah, you're up.
So I'm gonna go with John Rahm again. Actually surprised he fell this far to me. I mean, I think people think he's playing bad because his standard is so high. And he still finished T20 last week, and his strokes gained tee to green, strokes gained approach are still solid. Putter hasn't been too hot, but he could catch fire any week. So just going with John Rahm, and honestly surprised to see him there at 5.
Number one player
Yeah.
in the world, Forkham. Absolutely.
I mean, when that guy plays bad, he's still
Top 20.
exactly. It's crazy.
He's so good.
Yeah.
Yep. I definitely overlooked him a little bit, but I just think that Rory is going to have himself a good week again here. He's primed to do it.
Yeah.
Ryan?
Swinging back to me, or is this
Yeah.
snake draft?
That's
Round
it.
round two.
2 of
Snake
4.
it, or
Nope. Back to you from the
all
top.
right. I'm gonna go with. You guys usually kind of. Well, I'll go with it. Matthew Fitzpatrick.
Oh, I liked him last week.
Tough other player too.
Could have maybe got him in the 3rd round, but I mean, the guy's last 5 tournaments, 2nd, 12th, 6th, 10th, 9th.
Not a bad
Finished
deal.
ninth last year at Players.
Yeah,
Hey,
he's
not bad
I
at
like that. I
all.
like the pick for sure. You got to just go out and get who you want. Don't need to wait for
Yep.
them to fall to you because other people might swoop them up. I like that move.
Yeah. Good
Yeah,
pick,
that's
good pick.
That's a solid
I-
one.
I'm going with one of my most consistent picks of all season,
Yep.
and it's redemption time for my boy. He needed it last week. He didn't get it, or week before. Nonetheless, my guy Hideki. Hideki
Yo.
Matsuyama. I got a feeling this
Okay.
guy's going to be getting it all season, and this is time to show up and get that game done. Maybe another bow from his caddy. We'll see.
Ooh, geez, riding Hideki all year. I like it. I've ridden a couple for a year, so I feel it.
He's nice at the players too. He's got a good track record there.
Okay. Nah, I think I'll be safe there. This is a tough one for me. I'm switching back and forth between power rankings. I like to diversify,
Yeah.
So I'm going with I think I'm going to go with the number 7th overall in the power rankings according to the PGA Tour, and Mr. Daniel Berger, who has a T9 at TPC Sawgrass last year. Yeah, I like him. I was debating over him or Hovland, but I think Berger's game is sharp right now, and he would have had that W at the Honda. It was the Honda, right? Yeah, at the Honda, if he just didn't, choke it up a little bit. But his game's sharp. I'm going number 7, Daniel Berger.
Berger.
The guy loves Florida.
He's a Florida kid. He's gonna get some of that Horschel vibe of being home.
Does he live there? Yeah.
Mhm.
Grew up there. Dude.
Yeah, he's from Jupiter. I told the story last week over the group text, but my girlfriend's dad grew up playing tennis with Berger's dad. So he knows that family a little bit. And I think
And they called you and told you that Berger's gonna win.
Yeah, they told me that he was gonna, lead after 3 rounds, but go +4 in the final round. They knew it exactly. So
Oh, choke Leroy.
we'll see. But Joe, you just mentioned this player. I took him last week, and he does have a hot hand, but the hotter hand is Scotty Scheffler. He's won 2 of the last 3 starts, so I'm gonna pick him to continue that streak by having a high finish. Scotty Scheffler.
Nice. I like that.
So I went to the waste management on Friday when my wife and I were leaving. There's one guy on the practice facility, and it was Scotty Scheffler.
Wow.
Makes
And-
sense.
Sick.
Ended up shooting 9 under the next day, and actually he was practicing like 80-foot putts, which is interesting when I saw
Wow.
his final leg putt last week. So good pick.
Exactly.
No doubt.
So this is like the opposite of what happened last week, where you picked Hovland and I picked Scheffler, and ultimately Scheffler ended up winning.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna go Hovland, just given his recent form, and he just seems destined for a win at this point. So hoping it's coming this week.
I do like the pick, and it's more likely that Hovland would win this week than a back-to-back winner, especially in Florida. So we'll just have to see. But I do like Scotty Scheffler. I like Hovland, so I don't feel really bad picking either of them.
It's tough. I picked them both in my DraftKings last week.
Yep.
Needed both of them.
Well, back to the top for the third round of our 4 this week.
I go with Cam Smith.
I like it.
Ooh.
In Aussie.
That hurts me, Ryan. I ride the Aussies like Garrett rides Hideki. That's
He
tough for
just
me.
got to use rides.
Got
Yeah,
some
the guy's
horses out here.
solid.
He
Guy's
is.
solid. So
He is. He's very solid.
Also living in Florida, so that helps.
Another Florida guy, Jupiter specifically. All right.
Cam Smith is in Jacksonville, I believe,
Oh, really?
which is home game projections off the charts.
Ugh, Jacksonville. I don't know about that one. All right. Well, I am gonna go with my guy. Everyone knew was coming. It was just, do I save him? Which I was hesitant based on Mr. Will Dog the other week, Mr. Louis Oosthuizen. And he's gonna do good because I picked him. No one else can pick him. He does good when I pick him, not you, Willie. I'm sorry. He's my guy.
That's true. That's true.
All right, that's it. That's all I got.
Well,
Oh,
Joe,
I'm sifting. Oh gosh. I don't know. I'm locked up here. I think I'm gonna go with a guy who is gonna change how he's played, the past couple events here. And that's going to be Xander Schauffele. He's had 2 missed cuts here previously. I'm struggling to find anything better than that right now, but I'm going to go with Xander, and he's going to turn it around.
I think he was like top 10, if not top 5 in 2018, and then he went miscut. So he had a good year there. He knows he can do it.
Yeah.
that closes out my top 10 players. They've
Well,
all been picked.
Xander is choke artist himself.
Yeah,
He is
like-
I was
Mr.
waiting for G to say something.
But he's like choke artist, but still top 5, top 10. Like he'll be
No,
leading,
yeah.
but he's
Totally.
not choke Leroy, bro. He's not like leading like freaking T64.
He just can't get an actual W. I mean, he can get an Olympic gold. Good for him, but I would love to see him actually just break that, because he's a guy on the Golf Channel. Anyone you hear talk about is, can he get it done? And every time it's, Rory's at least done it in his career multiple times. You know what I mean? Like
20
he
times.
hasn't. Yeah, like Roy has nothing to prove. He has everything to prove. That's the difference. Legend versus trying to be a legend.
Well,
I got him
I'm
this week. I'm riding him.
going to go with the kid
I love
from
it.
Dallas,
Oh, Zally.
Will Zalatoris. I was trying to lead you on to thinking
Ooh.
Spieth, but I'm taking Will Zally.
Dally is pretty much me and Garrett. He's San Francisco to Plano, Texas.
Is that where he's at?
Yep.
Plano?
Yeah.
Yep. That's he's been playing well. I think he has a pretty good track record at Sawgrass, so I'm hoping he can
He's only played it one time, fool.
Well, I think it was a pretty good one time then, Mr. Joe.
I think it was like 20th.
That's not too bad, is it?
Yeah, it's solid.
I mean, it's not what
He
you
wasn't even on
want.
the PJ Tour yet.
Apparently, all we want is to not miss cuts here.
21st place finish last year. Yeah.
So that leaves me. I'm gonna take someone that probably make G a little sad,
Are you really gonna take
but
it?
Adam Scott.
Oh my
He's-
goodness. What the fuck is with people this season? Bullshit.
He's playing
Freaking
well.
bullshit.
He's playing well. He's got a good track record at Sawgrass. He doesn't have to hit as many drivers as he usually will. He actually put driver away in the first round last week. Just hit 3-wood, said he hasn't been hitting it that well. So we'll see. I'm expecting big things out of him.
It's almost, I mean, it is a compliment to have you pick him. It is later round, but still, like, that was definitely my next pick, you bastard.
Yo,
Mhm.
Yeah, he was my next pick too.
Oh my!
Oh,
I
once
would
again,
have
bye.
done.
Went to got to you.
Yeah, when you got to you.
Makes me feel a little bit better, actually. That's good. I'll take it.
All right. So might go tough decision between these two, but might go Joaquin Neiman.
I like that
I
pick.
just scrolled
Nice.
past him and said that would be a good one.
I do like the pick.
Oh. Okay.
Dang.
Pretty solid squad there, Ryan. Gotta say.
that is
Next
fourth.
time, don't give me the first pick. I should have been fifth.
Well, yeah, that's
I
it.
agree. I
First
should have
time
been
appearance.
first. Oh
Okay.
man. I know I'm up, but I'm thrown off now, so I gotta do some.
Wow,
some
no
deep digging.
backup plan.
No, never. Yeah, right. I'm picking Matthew Wolf.
But dude, it wouldn't matter because he missed the cut and you wouldn't get penalized for it.
He's unpickable.
Joe,
like,
I don't
anyway.
pick for that though, dude. Come on.
Ryan,
man.
Unpickable.
Ryan, I need your advice while Garrett sifts through this. In our game, we
Yeah.
don't, if you miss the cut, you don't get penalized for it. You just carry
Billy
over.
Horschel.
All right.
Fuck, I was gonna pick it.
Yeah.
If you miss the cut, if your players miss the cut, you don't get penalized. Their scores
You
just
can't
drop
say
off.
you can't say that's not a penalty though, because you're not getting any extra strokes either way.
Okay, this was the example we gave. When Matthew Wolf played at the Honda the other week, he
Yeah.
shot 81 the first round, which is
That's a
if you pick him,
positive.
and then okay, he shoots 81 and then he shot like 5 over the next day. So then the rest of your players shot like what, 6 under or whatever, but you're still holding on to this guy who was a shit pick and you're getting no penalty for that. It just is like he missed the cut, so now I'm 6 under on Saturday starting. It's like, no, bro, you're actually like 12 over. 'Cause
Yeah.
Matthew Wolf, like, what do you think? And I know I'm biased, and
But
giving
Joe
you
only
maybe-
realized this because he picked guys who made the cut and ended up going through the weekend being like plus $1 million. This has never come up across the average of all our rounds total.
but should it? Is the question. Should you be penalized with players who miss cuts?
I feel like you should.
And that's the question.
And if you don't want to get too crazy, you could, if your guy misses the cut, you could do whatever the cut line is his score. Assuming it's not, but not minus. If the cut line's -3, then maybe he's just 0. But if the cut line's +2, you shoot 7 over, maybe add 2. I don't know.
I actually do like the cut line thing
Yeah, that's not
That's a-
bad.
because
That's good input.
it's not crazy, but it averages out. Ryan, I can mess with the cut line.
Came up with that one.
So
Yeah,
yeah,
hey.
we can implement that like this.
I mean,
tournament
it
right
seems like if he's on your
Nope.
squad, you should take his score. But
here. Yes, dude. Thank you.
we'll see how Joaquin Neiman does, and then
Yeah, then you're gonna
give
be
you my
11
final
and
input.
The point is we don't want to take people out of the tournament, especially
Right.
if you do pick a Matt Wolf and he just blows up. But most tournaments aren't over par. They're going to be scoring under par over the weekend. And if you have 2 players left in the field where everyone else has 3, that's still somewhat of a penalty because that's the 3rd player that can't shoot -5 on Saturday or Sunday.
Yeah.
So I do like the cut line though. It's either even or over par. That seems like it could be pretty fair.
Yeah.
With that, Mr. Joe,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
got your final pick.
Yeah. Man, I just scrolled past Thigala's name, and what a fan I am of that guy. He'd be a good pick, but we don't have any Aussies on our lineup yet. And my guy Cam
Besides
Smith
Cam
was
Smith, yeah.
my guy Cam Smith was, taken from me. So I'm gonna have to go with my guy Mark Leishman.
Leash.
He's a steady Eddie. He's, knock on wood, he's not gonna miss the cut. He'll go probably, T20.
He was trash for me last week. Couldn't figure it out.
Yeah. He likes me though, so.
That's true. He does.
Well,
All right.
I'm really torn. Do I take the logical pick here or do I go with my heart? And I think
Gotta go with your heart.
As the get, I don't know about Ryan's, philosophy anymore. Ryan, never looks at players, and then he all of a sudden goes JT. Hasn't been done in like 50 years.
I could share my screen. Pick the next best available player.
well,
Actually, I went Fitzpatrick, who was 9th on my list, and then Cam Smith was 5th, and he was still available in 3rd round. So
I'm going to do it just because I want to have them both in my roster. I'm going to take Jordan Spieth this week.
I knew it. Knew it.
It's not a bad play.
I mean,
Yeah, it is.
guys, he's missed the cut 4 times in 7 tries there, but I'm hoping that with taking time off leading into this tournament, he's got a fresh mindset. He's ready to do something. He can shape the ball. One thing I am worried about is having 3 guys living in Dallas playing in this tournament on my team.
Dude, there's been some cold weather here in Dallas, dude, and he hasn't been getting out much. I'll
We'll
tell
have
you
to
that.
see. Well, then all 3 of them have it. But Scheffler's been down there. Did Zally play the last couple of weeks? I don't really
He played
know.
last week.
But yeah, I'm going with Jordan Spieth. And then once Willie makes his final pick, I'll let you know who my logical pick was going to be.
Yeah, I'm gonna take Shane Lowry.
I like
Shane
it.
Lowry.
Just came off a great finish at the Honda. I mean, he felt like the tournament was taken from him given the whole rain situation. He's really been in form lately, and if there is tough weather, he's kind of like Fitzpatrick in the sense where he's a tough weather player. So honestly, again, surprised that Lowry even fell to me with the very last pick of the entire draft.
It's been surprising.
Playing strong. He's definitely playing strong.
He's in form. Well, I just want to mention it was going to be Corey Connors. He's 2 for 2 with a couple of top 20s and a T11 just off of last week. So I think he's in good form. He's a good tee to green player. And then the Will Zalatoris pick, I was intrigued because he leads the tour in strokes gained or approach to the green and ranks 3rd in strokes gained tee to green, which are both very important stats here this week. So I'm counting on that. Although we'll see, the weather could really mess things up for us. A lot could go wrong. A lot of things can happen. It's the Players Championship, the 5th major. The players all want to win it. This is going to be a fun one. No doubt about it. Ryan, thank you so much for joining us. This was great. Excited
yeah,
to see how
appreciate it,
this-
guys. It was fun.
excited to
Yes,
see
man.
how
Yeah,
these picks work
Such
out.
a good time.
All right. We'll see you
Dylan,
guys
I'm
soon.
surprised you didn't go with Hoagie and just keep it all Texas.
No. Well, I went with my heart for 2 of the picks with McElroy and Spieth. So we're going to see how it works out. But
Yep.
this was a lot of fun. Thanks again for joining us, and we'll follow along through the week and see how everything shakes out.
All right. Appreciate it, guys.
All righty.